Hello, I'm meteorologist Ryan Leach, and this is the planning briefing for January 9th, 2020. So some of our quick weather impacts. Tomorrow, Friday, we have some heavy snow expected in northwest Montana and central Idaho, followed up by a pretty strong system, or the potential for a very strong system, an Arctic front and widespread snow on Sunday and Monday, with possible blizzard conditions in northwest Montana. And then Tuesday and Wednesday look extremely cold and perhaps even more snow. So overall on Matrix, we've got a lot of colors on there. It's going to be a very active weather period, especially across the board starting on Saturday, but for north central Idaho and northwest Montana, or most of western Montana anyway, starting even Friday night. We do have some red and purple on there for the high and extreme conditions with snow and wind in northwest Montana, Sunday and then Monday and Tuesday. Really, that Sunday portion of that is Sunday night, and then with most of those impacts being felt in northwest Montana on Monday. And this is the potential blizzard that I mentioned on the previous slide. And then pretty much across the board, continued impacts, but a bit of a slowdown on Tuesday. So start right off the bat with the Friday night system. On the left, we have some of the storm total snows ranging basically anywhere from 8 inches to a foot in a lot of our mountain locations, especially along the western portions of Montana and into central Idaho and those areas. And then on the right, I have a sort of a time series showing the expected snow amounts for Lolo Pass, but I really could have picked that out for Pierce or Grangemont or Lookout Pass, and they would look very similar. The only thing that would be different is the numbers. And basically, we're looking at a lot of snow starting probably Friday evening, and that's where we've got the highest snow amounts, and then a little bit lower snow rates going through Saturday morning and into Sunday. But in the mountains, snow is basically going to continue throughout the entire forecast. So it's going to be the beginning of an extended period of snow starting Friday night. And the graphic on the left with the storm total snows is just a 24-hour snow accumulation that ends 5 p.m. on Saturday. So, and then for the next wave, there's a lot more uncertainty within the next wave that comes through Sunday night into Monday morning. For the storm total snow amounts that we have in the left graphic, we're looking at 8 to 12 inches in West Glacier, 6 to 8 inches in Kalispell, another 12 to 18 inches at Lookout Pass, and then of course 8 inches to a foot of snow, pretty widespread in the mountains of central Idaho. So this looks like a pretty big system. There is, however, a lot of uncertainty with how this is going to play out right now, and I would say that this storm total snow is a bit on the pessimistic in terms of impacts and a bit on the high side for snow amounts. So this is kind of pessimistic in that regard. A little bit on the high side for the total range of possible forecasts, but it's really, it's not that unlikely. It's something that, I'm going to say at this point there's maybe a 30% chance of things getting that bad across the board. So a little bit pessimistic, but certainly within the realm of possibility. What's more concerning about that is on the right graphic, we've kind of zoomed into northwest Montana. You can see the areas around Kalispell, Whitefish, Big Fork. Some of those areas have some strong winds up in the 20s. And the bulk of this snow that we're looking at, and again, the snow total on the left is a 24-hour storm total snow. The bulk of that snow is probably going to come before about 5 a.m. Monday morning. And then it's going to start winding down. And as the snow amounts start to wind down, the winds really start to wind up and increase. So right now it looks like the potentially Monday morning commute could be pretty bad up in northwest Montana with blowing, drifting snow, potential for some blizzard conditions around West Glacier to Columbia Falls and the northeastern parts of Kalispell. Low visibility, blowing, drifting snow. We're pretty confident that conditions are going to be pretty bad east of Columbia Falls as you head up Highway 2 our confidence for just how bad it's going to be drops off pretty quick as you head to the west at this point. So again, this is a pessimistic forecast, but well within the realm of possibility that it's something that I think folks should be prepared for, with potential for blizzard conditions, but also quite a bit of snow and blowing and drifting. So again, on this pessimistic side, the best analog that we could come up with was January 28th, 2008. And in that situation, there were blizzard conditions were reported from Kalispell to Glacier National Park. They had gusts of 35 miles an hour in the Flathead Valley with single-digit temperatures, so very cold air. Arctic air didn't make it very far west, i.e. it didn't make it into central Idaho, so the impacts in central Idaho with this event would most likely be just the snow. And the wind chills near -40 along the Continental Divide, so that'd be up at Marias Pass, and even down to McDonald Pass. And with this, just where we do have the I guess more confidence is up around Kalispell, and I'll talk more about that later. But just to give an idea of how big of a change we're expecting, we're looking at high temperatures on Saturday, potentially becoming above freezing, and then by Tuesday or Wednesday time period dropping down below 40. So we're looking below 4 degrees below zero. So what that means is in a period of about 2 to 3 days, we're looking at a 30-degree temperature drop. And that most of that, probably about 20 degrees of or so, will come in a one-day period. So this chart takes a little bit of explaining. With all of the models that we have, we can put them together and make what's called an ensemble. And we can look at things like what's the mean or the average temperature from the ensemble, and that usually has more skill than, say, just looking at one model alone. This is the standard deviation of the high temperature forecast for Tuesday, and it gives us an idea of the forecast confidence. And these numbers, this 10 right here is Missoula, and the 9 is Kalispell. So between Missoula and Kalispell, that standard deviation, or the amount of spread, is about 11 degrees. So that means, if we're forecasting a high on Tuesday in there of, say, 15 degrees, then we're thinking, anywhere between 4 or 26 degrees. So that's a very wide range of uncertainty that comes with this. And the reason I show this is just to kind of highlight the geographic areas that between Missoula and Kalispell where we have the most uncertainty in the forecast. And this chart depicts the uncertainty for the winds, but you can sort of expand that out to somewhat snow amounts and to wind, the amount of wind that we get, and just in general how bad things are going to be. This is kind of on the tail end of the event, so that's something that we're watching very closely. We do have a webinar scheduled for Friday, and I hope to address this in more detail then. And exactly, this uncertainty, we're expecting that to decrease as we get closer to the event. So this uncertainty will decrease as we head into Sunday and Monday, of course, once things start to unfold. So looking at the 6 to 10 day outlook for precipitation, we remain with above normal precipitation expected. And of course, that's across a very wide area of the U.S. And more importantly, I think for us, we also have actually very high confidence that we'll have below average temperatures. It's unusual, I think, to see confidence this high that will be below normal in the 6 to 10 day. This doesn't say exactly how cold it's going to be, though, just that it will be below normal. I will say, though, that for quite a while now, there's been a lot of very cold air that's been locked up in Alaska, and this is kind of opening the door on it as we go through this pattern change. So I think that's why there's such high confidence in this long-range forecast that will be below normal. So just to kind of wrap it up, we do have high confidence in a cold, snowy change coming in the weather. So high confidence that it's going to be cold and snowy. Where our confidence starts to lack is in the exact snow amounts, and especially in that Sunday-Monday system where the strongest winds are going to be and just exactly how cold it's going to be. So that's all we've got. We do have a live briefing scheduled for Friday morning at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Time, where we can talk about some of the uncertainty and maybe some of the impacts in a little bit more detail, hopefully. And then our next regularly scheduled recorded briefing will be on Sunday. Thank you.